Democrats are so judgmental. There's basically one point of view, toe the line. Tim Walz is at it again. Here he is talking about Kamala.
Damn it, I would love to turn on the TV and see her instead of what we see every day. Since that election, I've been doing a lot of thinking and a lot of traveling. I spent a lot of time.
Speaking of the election, you know what didn't help? How poorly you performed at the debate with J.D. Vance.
Let's keep in mind where this started. October 7th, Hamas terrorists massacred over 1,400 Israelis and took prisoners. Israel's ability to be able to defend itself is absolutely fundamental. Getting its hostages back, fundamental, and ending the humanitarian crisis in Gaza.
He's talking here about the big, beautiful bill.
Trump and Republicans are trying to ram this monstrosity through Congress before any of us figure out what's really in it. Well, you know what's in it. A record-setting shift of wealth to the rich from all the rest of us.
Democrats love saying that, and then they love doing absolutely nothing about it. When Obama was president, pretty much the only people that did well were wealthy people. Same with Biden. You even see this, how the way they talk about the stock market. When it goes down, there's Democrat panic.
The stock market crashed as Donald Trump was speaking yesterday, talking about how powerful and strong and alpha his tariffs are.
And all but 2 Republicans voted for this big, beautiful pile of bullshit. All but 2. But when Trump and the Republicans aren't sacrificing our livelihoods at the altar of massive tax cuts for the rich, they're finding plenty of other ways to screw us over and make life hell. You've got some 19-year-old Doge dweeb rooting around in government systems, mainlining 4 locos, and messing everything up.
Who talks like this? Doge dweebs? Does this come natural to him to just keep kind of throwing in these insults?
And I know this one's going to really depress you on a beautiful Saturday morning when you're here. This shit show has only been going on for 4 months. 4 months.
This shit show. Cool, bro. Okay, we move forward now in the clip quite a bit.
We've got to show the guts that we're willing to. I feel like there's folks that aren't willing to say the things necessary because they might be worried they might not get reelected if they say that.
I actually agree with that as an idea. Let's see where he takes it.
I'm not going to say that, and I don't think any of us can. I'm getting called out on this because I called Donald Trump a wannabe dictator. It's because he is. It's because he is. Oh. The governor's being mean, and the governor's speaking out on that. Well, maybe it's time for us to be a little meaner. Maybe it's time for us to be a little more fierce.
Dude, you can't be the messenger for that, Tim Walz, because you did so poorly in that debate with J.D. Vance. When the lights were on you, you folded like nobody I've ever seen fold. Yes, Biden, but that was for a different reason. Tim Walz up here talking trash. I'm the tough guy. Dude, you crumbled in the national spotlight.
You said you were in Hong Kong during the deadly Tiananmen Square protests in the spring of 1989. But Minnesota Public Radio and other media outlets are reporting that you actually didn't travel to Asia until August of that year. Can you explain that discrepancy? To follow up on that, the question was, can you explain the discrepancy?
All I said on this is I got there that summer and misspoke on this. So I will just, that's what I've said. So I was in Hong Kong and China during the democracy protests went in. And from that, I learned a lot of what needed to be in governance.
The thing that bothers a teacher more than anything is to watch a bully. To watch this bully and to stop it. And when it's a child, you talk to them and you tell them why bullying's wrong. But when it's adult like Donald Trump, you bully the shit out of him back. You push back. You make sure they know it's not there. Because at heart...
Again, when the lights were on you, man, you didn't sound like this. You sounded like, oh, J.D. Vance, let's just be friends. Let's get along.
Well, I've enjoyed tonight's debate, and I think there was a lot of commonality here. And I'm sympathetic to misspeaking on things, and I think I might have with the senator. But
me too, man.
There's one.
Because at heart, this is a weak, cruel man that takes it out and punches down on people. What they don't want to do is stand toe-to-toe and punch back with someone who's calling them out for what they do, who's being there. And for
When J.D. Vance was toe-to-toe with you, how did that go? It was just J.D. Vance win. J.D. Vance win. Every question, man, you look like you were trembling. Now you get on here in front of a teleprompter and you're just talking all this nonsense. Bro.
Governor, you previously opposed an assault weapons ban, but it's only later in your political career did you change your position. Why?
Yeah, I sat in that office with those Sandy Hook parents. I've become friends with school shooters. I've seen it. Look, the NRA, I was an NRA guy for a long time.
But when it's adult like Donald Trump, you bully the shit out of him back. You push back.
I honestly believe there's a very good chance this will be the nominee who you're looking at, Tim Walz. Many major Democrat YouTube channels, Democrat creators love this kind of stuff.
Man, I love Tim Walz. Tim Walz is awesome. So he just went and gave a speech in South Carolina. Very clearly, he looks committed to running in 2028. I love that because honestly, a lot of the things he's out there saying, I don't see any other Democrat saying it. And these are things that need to be said. So he gives this speech in South Carolina, and there's a bunch of moments. I'm going to highly recommend you go watch the whole speech.
We, as a Democratic Party, have to offer a place that is, yes, welcoming. People don't go to his rallies to listen to his dumb crap that he's saying. I don't believe that. I think they go to those rallies to be next to people who think like them. I think they go next to those rallies to feel like they're part of something. But damn it, we should be able to have some fun and be joyful. We should be able to gather in these places. We should make them feel like they matter. So look.
Okay, there he's kind of talking about the Democrat version of the massive Trump rallies. Good luck with that. The Democrats are so judgmental. There's basically one point of view, toe the line. You can still see this in the Democrat Party. If someone says something a little sensible, maybe a little bit center, some other Democrat goes, no, don't say that.
Talk about diversity. Is it caring for people's different experiences and making sure no one's mistreated because of them, which I will always fight for? Or is it making people sit through a training that looks like something out of Portlandia, which I have also experienced, and it is how Trump Republicans are made, if that comes to your workplace with the best of intentions.
So do you agree with him that DEI initiatives drove voters to Trump? And what else can be done to make sure everyone is represented on an even playing field?
You know what I think?
What do you think, Sonny?
I like Pete, of course, but I think he got that so wrong, and I think it was so tone deaf, considering what's going on. All of it. I thought all of it was tone deaf.
Here's a story Tim Walz tells a few minutes later, which I'll use to make my point that the Democrat Party is far too judgmental.
And this woman was sitting with me in Duluth, Minnesota, about as far north as you can get up on Lake Superior. And she came from Arkansas. And she said, yeah, Arkansas is racist. She says, but in Minnesota, the racism's quieter, but it's meaner.
Okay, so you want to get Democrats together. What if somebody doesn't think Arkansas is racist? How do you think that's going to go in a discussion in the modern Democrat Party? They'll just be like, you don't think it's racist there? What are you, MAGA? It doesn't work like that. MAGA, you don't have to agree with exactly everything Trump says or somebody else in MAGA, Elon, whatever. It's such a bigger tent right now. Democrats are just the whiny, blah, blah, blah. You don't agree with me 100%? Get out of here. So with that said, I'll finish the video there. Thank you very much for watching. Like and subscribe. Have a great day.